Erik ten Hag may have finally found the ideal possession structure for Manchester United. It allows Andre Onana to be used as a ball-playing goalkeeper and gets Marcus Rashford closer to the opposition goal. So, let's take a look. Now, the first thing I should say before we get into this is that we shouldn't go overboard with the last two performances. Manchester United are not suddenly cured and fixed, but we have seen improvements, and I think we should point that out. These improvements, for me, come in the game against Aston Villa before the international break, and then Brentford at the weekend. It starts in goal, it moves into the defence, the midfield, and then eventually the final third, and for me, it has seen United being better on the ball. So let's start off in goal. Andre Onana. Andre Onana is finally being used as a ball-playing goalkeeper. How are we doing that? We are essentially using him as an outfielder. We are regularly seeing one of the fullbacks pushed further forward like this, and Andre Onana becoming a part of the back four. Now, the reason that this is done is because with the fullback pushing forward, it allows the winger to come inside. Basically, United get more players in the middle of the pitch. We can have 2, 3, 4 central midfielders on goal kicks. If you think back to last season, we were often only having one player in this midfield position. We've now got 3 or 4, and it is because Andre Onana is being used as an extra midfielder. Now, the reason he has been able to do this is because of the personnel we have been using at fullback. We saw it the other day, Lisandro Martinez playing left back, it gives us a left footer. But Jonny Evans is also important for this role, and we can see it here. Andre Onana playing as part of the back four, and the most important thing here is Jonny Evans on the left-hand side. Jonny Evans is a left-footed player. Erik ten Hag wants left-footers in his team. Jonny Evans gives you that. He gives you a way to play down the left-hand side. In the opening weeks of the season, we had Diogo Dalot in this position, and it was a bit of a problem. Because he was right-footed, he always wanted to come inside. Jonny Evans moving into this position kind of solves that problem. We also saw this at the weekend against Brentford as well. And again, the reason for that is because we want to push Diogo Dalot further forward down the right-hand side, which means our right centre-back needs to shift to right-back, which means Onana essentially plays right centre-back. And now this time we have Jonny Evans and Lisandro Martinez on the left-hand side. Again, what does that mean? We've got 2 left footers. That is what Ten Hag wants in his team. It gives United a balance. If we look at this current back four, we've got 2 right footers and 2 left footers. This is what Ten Hag wants. Now, the next important thing is what United are actually now doing from these situations. It's alright on paper having 4 players across the back, but what do you actually do on the ball? How does it work? We use Andre Onana as the extra man. If you count it, Andre Onana being an outfielder gives us 11 players on the ball. The opposition can physically only press us with 10 players, which means that somewhere Manchester United will have a free man. And in Andre Onana, we have a brilliant ball-playing goalkeeper. Someone who is incredibly calm, patient and composed on the ball, happy to draw pressure onto himself if it means that someone else gets a little bit of space. And again, that is what we have seen in the past couple of games. Onana drawing a player towards him, knowing that he has the passing ability to find a teammate who can then find our free man out in this position here, or sometimes our free man might be in midfield. It's working pretty effectively, I would say. Again, we saw this before the international break. This is against Aston Villa. In a game that was a little bit dull, there were still positives. Ollie Watkins is drawn in here by Andre Onana's patience. Andre Onana takes his time, the opposition eventually press him. It allows Onana to pop the ball into midfield. And because we have so many central midfielders all of a sudden, again, 3 or 4 players in this position, there is now the license for one of them to drop deeper, to drop into these positions to pick up the ball, be the spare man, and again, pop the ball wide, find our free player, and now we have a bit of space down this side to finally move the ball forward. We also had this against Brentford as well. Again, Onana in goal, drawing the press onto him. The striker is coming to press Andre Onana because he is basically an outfield player here. Again, we've got the midfielder dropping in deep. We've got 3 midfielders here, so one of them can go deeper. Bruno Fernandes picks the ball up, plays the bounce pass around the corner like so, and once again, we have time to move out from the back. So that is why Manchester United in the past couple of games have looked better playing out from these deeper positions. Now, we should also point out the fact that Villa and Brentford haven't actually pressed that well, in all honesty. There will be bigger tests to come for United, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and United are doing well in this phase. Now, because United are doing a better job in the first phase, it means that we are getting to the second phase on a more regular basis. And in this second phase, when you are looking to control the ball, dictate the tempo, I think we have seen a simplification of the Manchester United structure. We are still often building possession in a back 3, like we have seen quite a lot, but the way we are getting to that position is a bit simpler. It is simply a case of one fullback stays further back, whilst the other one moves further forward. At the weekend, it was Lisandro Martinez from left back, tucking into a back 3 like this, whilst Diogo Dalot went further forward. In the game against Aston Villa, it was Mazraoui playing deeper on the right-hand side, and Dalot, our left-back on that occasion, moving further forward up the pitch. What this does is it simplifies things. There are less rotations in the Manchester United side. We are seeing less of an inverted fullback and different movements into these positions. It's a little bit more simplified, which means when we lose the ball, it's also simpler for the players to get back into position. Now, something I would kind of warn Ten Hag about here is making sure he doesn't overcomplicate this. Keep rotations simple. I still feel at times the players rotate a little bit too much. Sometimes we're seeing midfielders in the back three. I don't want to see that too regularly. Ten Hag needs to make sure that we keep that idea of keeping it simplified, because I think it suits our players a little bit better. And I think it's working in the past 2 games. We can see it here in the game against Aston Villa. Quite clearly, Manchester United are building possession with a back 3. On paper, when the lineup is released, it's a back 4. But actually on the ball, United are quickly into this back 3 formation. And if we look at the 2 fullbacks, the positioning is incredibly different. Our right back is very deep, Mazraoui, playing as part of the back 3. Meanwhile, Dalot has bombed forward into the final third. He is providing the width for our attack. That's basically an old school winger position. That shows how different these fullback roles are. But what it means is that we actually get 2 proper central midfielders in the middle of the park. It suits the players a little bit better. And we also saw this against Brentford despite a different lineup. Once again, Manchester United are in a back 3. But if we mark the 2 fullbacks, Lisandro Martinez and Diogo Dalot are playing very different positions. Lisandro Martinez is our left back. He is deep. He is connected with our centre backs, whilst Dalot is being given that licence to move forward down the right hand side. Again, that is basically a winger position. And once again, it gives us these 2 central midfielders in the middle of the pitch. And what this also allows United to do eventually, with a fullback providing the width, that means a winger can come inside. We've got Bruno Fernandes high in the half spaces as well. And eventually, Manchester United are able to create a box shape in the midfield. 4 players playing in these central areas, close to each other, giving us options to move the ball through the pitch, through the middle of the pitch. Now, something that I personally have found quite interesting in these 2 games has been the positioning of Marcus Rashford. In one game he played on the left-hand side of the attack, in one game he played on the right-hand side of the attack. But in both games he was actually given a licence to move inside the pitch, because in both games he played on the same side as Dalot. In the first game it was Dalot and Rashford down this side against Aston Villa, so Rashford would come inside as Dalot went round. And then fast forward to the game against Brentford, Dalot overlaps now down the right hand side and Marcus Rashford comes inside. Now the first thing we have to do is praise Diogo Dalot. That is incredible versatility, so fair play to him as a player. But it's getting Marcus Rashford into these more central positions. And overall, I would say this is working for Manchester United. We've got Marcus Rashford a little bit more tucked in here, a slightly narrower position on the ball, but also on the other side as well, from the right hand side. This is a much more centralised position. Now what is the benefit of playing Marcus Rashford a little bit more central? It's pretty obvious, to be honest. If he's more central, he's closer to this thing over here, the goal. And Marcus Rashford is our best goal scorer at the football club, in my opinion, the best ball striking player certainly, therefore you want him close to goal. If we take the first 6 games of the season, Marcus Rashford only had a shot in one of those matches, the 3-0 win against Southampton, whereas since he has been moved to the slightly more tucked in position, he has had 2 shots in each of the past 2 games. Now we still want to see more from him. He needs to be more attacking, give us more attacking threat, be more of a goal output option. But that's certainly an improvement. He is getting into a better position. He is now closer to goal. And ultimately, with Rashford closer to goal, you would expect more goals to come from him. So I think Erik Ten Hag has solved one of the problems we had been facing. We had an issue where Rashford was required to be this properly creative player. And that's not the case all of a sudden. He can still create chances, we saw it at the weekend. But he can be a goal threat as well. And I think that's exactly what United need. But the important thing also here is that we are able to keep this idea and this attacking fundamental, it seems, for Ten Hag, of getting into wide areas and exploiting teams out wide. How many times did Garnacho get into a space against the fullback at the weekend? Countless times. He kept doing it. He kept doing it. Of course, the end product needs to be better. Manchester United still need to create more chances. We still aren't scoring enough goals. But I would say there is an improvement in the final third. And what we are seeing still is those 1 versus 1s turned into 2 versus 2s, where it can be a winger underlapping or overlapping. It can be a midfielder on the other side, again, underlapping or overlapping. This is an important thing for Erik Ten Hag in the final third. Or so it seems. Now this is something that we've actually been talking about ever since the start of the season. United have been getting into these positions on a regular basis. The good thing here is, despite United's positions perhaps changing slightly, players playing slightly different roles, we are still seeing these same attacking patterns of 2 versus 2 situations out wide. I just feel that really ultimately for United to improve in the final third, the decisions have to be better. And not only the decisions in terms of who are you passing to, do you play the overlap or do you shoot a goal yourself? but also the decisions in terms of the ball you actually put into the box. Because United can get into these 2 versus 2 situations, but then the delivery is just really poor still at the moment. It's not ideal, I guess, when you've got Lisandro Martinez crossing into the box. It's never going to be great, but there is still something missing there for United in the final third. You can see you've got plenty of options. You've got plenty of players forward in the box. You've got a bit of space out wide. You've worked the ball into a good area. That final bit is still lacking. United still need work there. And as I said right at the start, United still need work in a lot of places. The possession situation isn't suddenly fixed and cured and perfect. That isn't the case. It would be wrong to say that. But we have seen improvements, and I think when we see improvements, we should point them out, because we're all more than happy to point out the problems. Let's point out the positives. Ten Hag has found some solutions to United's possession problems. I think there will be bigger challenges in the coming weeks, but it's working at the moment, so fair play to Erik ten Hag, fair play to the players. Hopefully it keeps getting better, because it needs to, but this is a step in the direction of a positive direction, I should say, in my opinion. Let me know your opinion though in the comments down below. What do you think? Have United got better on the ball, or have the opposition been poor? Are the patterns better? Is Rashford in a better position? And what do you make of Andre Onana on the ball? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.